Since February 24th, 2022, Ukraine has been the battlegrounds for one of the most conquestial conflicts of our time. A war that has reshaped geopolitics, devastated lives, and sparked a global fight for freedom and democracy. Today, we will take a look through the story of Ukraine, its past, present, and uncertain future. To understand the war in Ukraine, we must go back in time.
This world has a new country tonight, Ukraine. The White House says it is moving toward full diplomatic recognition of the former Soviet Republic. Poland, Canada, and the Russian Republic gave recognition today.
In 1991, Ukraine declared its independence following the collapse of the Soviet Union. This new nation would spend its decades striving for democracy while under the big foot of its powerful neighbor, Russia.
One main event that started this conflict, what would it be?
Well, I wouldn't say there's one main event that really started it, but I think that Russia always, it's due to the fact that Ukraine has always been in the sphere of influence. Russia has always kind of made it the bad guy almost because of its connection with the rest of the world. And I think in 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea, it was more for control over Ukraine and influence on what they said.
The Maidan Revolution of 2014 marked a turning point. Ukrainians rejected Russian influence and demanded closer ties with Europe. This resistance enraged Moscow, setting the stage for the years of tension and ultimately, war.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, David Muir.
Good evening, and we're coming on the air at this hour with breaking news after the U.S. warned all day of a full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, that it was imminent. Vladimir Putin has just addressed the Russian people moments ago, announcing what Putin called the start of a military special operation, in his words, to demilitarize Ukraine. That Russia would bring in troops. He told Ukrainian troops to lay down arms and go home.
On February 24th, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. What many believe to be a swift operation turned into a very long and grinding war. I woke up to the sound of bombs dropping outside my window. I grabbed my 2 children and ran as far away as I could. Hundreds died in that attack. Family, friends, a bunch of people. There are thousands like me. I'm not the only one. Russian forces attacked on multiple fronts, targeting cities like Kiev, Kharkov, and Mariupol. Their goal? To decapitate Ukraine's government and install their own Russian puppet regime. The war has had devastating consequences. Millions of Ukrainians have been displaced, entire cities reduced to rubble, and the world's economy has been shaken to its core.
This war has had a huge ripple effect all across Europe and Africa. See, Russia was a huge exporter of natural gases across the globe, which causes fuel prices to rise everywhere, as we see very commonly in the United States now. Also, Ukraine was a huge exporter of wheat. Now, wheat is very important to people, what people eat, especially in countries in Africa and Europe. So these people now lost a place to get their natural energy and a place to get their food from. So they're really struggling, which shows a lot how this war has affected people everywhere.
How's the Ukrainian war going?
The Ukrainian war has been a very tough fight. Russia is a very strong power, and it's hard to push back, but every inch that we gain on the battlefield is a step towards freedom for our country and for our people.
The global response to the war has been swift and polarized. While much of the world has rallied behind Ukraine, others remain divided in their causes.
What is America's stance on the Russian-Ukrainian war?
At this moment, America is pro-Ukraine. We have given billions of dollars to Ukraine for any type of help that they need, whether it's missiles. We just recently we gave them long-range missiles. We have given them ammunition. We have given them tanks. We have given them aid wherever needed, fighter planes, all that kind of stuff. What that translates to in a couple of weeks when our new presidential administration takes over, we don't fully know the answer to that yet. President-elect / former President Donald Trump has said that he does not want to give as much aid to Ukraine that we have been giving, and potentially maybe even taking most aid away. Now, again, we don't fully know yet until he's in office and we actually see what is implemented versus just what's said. So at this current day in December, we have been giving billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. We want to, for the next couple weeks, continue to give more money and more aid to Ukraine. What that means on January 20th at noon, I don't know quite what the answer looks like yet.
What does the future hold for Ukraine in this war? Experts suggest a range of possible outcomes, each with global implications.
The most optimistic scenario of the war is a Ukrainian victory, although that could take years. Prolonged stalemate is a lot more likely, with neither side gaining an advantage. The worst case scenario would be drawing in NATO or even leading to nuclear war.
Despite the horrors of this war, Ukraine stands strong. Its people, ordinary civilians turned soldiers, families torn apart yet resilient, are determined to stay alive against the Russian onslaught.